Hi guys, so also I'm an MDS aspirant, as you can see from the channel. So the thing is that I'll be starting with microbiology division today. So I thought I'll be making a video for you people who can actually study with me the the microbiology. I'll be starting with gram-positive cocci only today, and I think I'll be covering staph and strepto and enterococcus group, basically all the gram-positive cocci. So let's get started now. So okay, I'll be starting with staph aureus. Okay, the first thing you need to know about staph aureus is that it is coagulase positive. Okay, coagulase positive is only staph aureus, and other than staph aureus, all the other staphylococcus bacteria are always coagulase negative, like epidermidis, hemolyticus and streptophyticus. Okay, this is the only thing you have to know. Okay, you can't omit that. Staph aureus, the things that you have to know is facultative anaerobe, golden yellow pigment, and grows on 10% NaCl. The only thing about microbiology, studying microbiology, is that you have to differentiate between the staph, strepto, and entero. Right? You have to be able to differentiate in the examination hall. So, if a question says oil paint appearance, the question says the bacteria appears with oil paint appearance, so you have to know it is staph aureus, right? Staph aureus makes the golden yellow pigment, the staph epidermidis makes the white colonies, and the staph citrus is lemon yellow colonies. Now we are MDS experience, right? So we have to read all of the information that is written on the book. So I'll be giving you the important points. That is very important. So you need to know about all the image based questions. The golden yellow pigment looks like this. You have to know, this has to be on your mind in the examination hall. And the white colonies by epidermidis, it looks like this. Okay, so the next thing is that is very important, that is it causes beta hemolysis, that is complete hemolysis. I'll be talking about the hemolysis more on the streptococcus part, so bear with me now. Okay, so the novobiocin resistance is staph streptophyticus. You just need to know this, that's all. Okay, the next important thing is mannitol salt agar, that is mannitol 1%, NaCl 7 to 5%, indicator phenol red, and salt milk agar. Okay, mannitol salt agar is always related to staph aureus. And the most important thing is catalase positive. Staphylococcus are catalase positive. All other gram positive cocci are catalase negative, right? And only Staphylococcus aureus is coagulase positive. The rest of the Staphylococcus group is coagulase negative. All right, so catalase positive, unlike streptococci and unlike enterococci also, catalase positive and phosphatase positive. All right, okay, so catalase positive test looks like this, and you have to know this. It can be a important question. Okay, the next thing is the toxins. Okay, now the toxins were not that important before 2 years now, but last 2 years I'm seeing toxin questions very important now. So the coagulase, lipase, hyaluronidase and staphylokinase are the important toxins, the important extracellular enzymes that actually cause the infection. If the infection is on the skin, that is the lipase. If it spreads very quickly, then it is hyaluronidase. That's all you need to know. Okay, the slight coagulation test is also important. This is what it looks like, and that's all. Okay, so the next is tube coagulation test. Looks like this. Positive, there is a coagulation. Negative, there is no coagulation. That's all. Okay, important thing is beta hemolysin is a sphingomyelinase. Okay, I'll be telling you what sphingomyelinase is in when I'll be teaching you physiology. So now I'm just talking about this whole hot cold phenomenon is positive. Okay, leukocidine is called the penton valentine toxin. That's all. You need to know the specific points that is important for the exam. Okay, Toxic-Shock syndrome, I'll be talking about Toxic-Shock syndrome in a bit now. The explorative toxin are enterotoxin and super antigen. Okay, this is important. and these things are very important. That's all. Okay, now the distinguishing feature is staph causes folliculitis, furuncle, carbuncle, cellulitis, impetigo contagiosum, bullous impetigo, mastitis, surgical wound infection, botryomycosis, and ichthyma. Okay, but the thing is, staph causes the bullous impetigo, right? But streptococcus always cause the non-bullous impetigo. So if the question says the patient is suffering from bullous impetigo, it is always Staph aureus. Okay, streptococcus is non-bullous. Alright. Okay. So I'll be giving you important points also. So this is here written. Impetigo contagiosum is always caused by staph and strepto, whereas bullous impetigo is always caused by staph. Non-bullous is always caused by strepto. Okay. So toxic shock syndrome, food poisoning, Staphylococcus caldis skin syndrome, 44S, acute endocarditis. These are caused by staph. Okay. Now Staphylococcus caldis skin syndrome is very, very important for Staph aureus. It is always seen in newborn children. Okay, and Nikolsky sign is positive. If you are a NEET MDS aspirant, you have to know what is Nikolsky sign is. If you don't know, you can comment down below and I can explain to you what is Nikolsky sign. Newborn children are the mostly affected from the Staphylococcus caldis skin syndrome. If it is severe in newborn, that is called Reiter syndrome. Okay, there is exfoliative toxin there, so it causes the Reiter syndrome. That's all. All right. Okay, the next thing is, this is the Staphylococcus caldis syndrome, what it looks like. Okay, food poisoning is important, but it is not there's not much questions from the Staphylococcus food poisoning. So it is preform enterotoxin. It's not exotoxin, it is enterotoxin. It is heat stable and super antigen. Okay, and the most important thing is, it does not irritate the gastrointestinal mucosa. It actually acts on the autonomic nervous system, that is the vomiting center of brain and the vagus nerve. It does not cause irritation to the gastrointestinal mucosa for creating the food poisoning. That's all. Fever is not seen in Staphylococcus food poisoning. So it actually, no antibiotic is required, it actually dissolves on its own. And what toxic shock syndrome looks like: it high fever, fainting, watery diarrhea, headache and muscle ache, hypotension and rash, right? So these are the things. TSST is the toxin. So this is all that is important, and that's all you need to know. You don't need to know this, no. Okay, the treatment is penicillin. If you have penicillin resistance, that is methicillin resistance, you give vancomycin. If it is VRSA, that is vancomycin resistant Staph aureus, you give linezolid. That's all. You didn't need to know anything. And the only thing is important is mechanism of methicillin resistance. That is, when the bacteria is MRSA, what happens? MEK gene is the resistance gene. Done. Okay, Staph is done. Okay, the next thing that we have to study is the streptococci. Streptococci में क्या क्या important है? Streptococci में the questions comes like this कि urinary tract infection हुआ है and the details are given, so you have to identify the bacteria, that is Enterococcus. Always remember, Enterococcus is hospital acquired urinary tract infection. I'll be giving you the details now. So endocarditis, there is a classification altogether for endocarditis bacteria. I'll be giving you that also. Okay, just take a look at this. Neonatal meningitis is agelecti, so CAM test positive. Yeah, so there's separate classification for streptococci is altogether. It is streptococci is O2 requirement. According to the O2 requirement is anaerobes, it's aerobes and facultative anaerobes, and the obligate anaerobes do not need O2, right? The bacteria that need O2 are divided in basis of hemolysis. What is hemolysis? That is divided into alpha, beta and gamma group, right? Alpha group, partial hemolysis causes the partial hemolysis of RBC. Beta hemolysis group causes the complete hemolysis, and gamma group does not hemolyze. It does not show any hemolysis, right? That's all. And the next thing is, this is what the hemolysis looks like. This is alpha hemolysis, partial. You can see, I think identify this is partial hemolysis. This is complete hemolysis. You can show the lines, right? This is complete hemolysis. and there is no hemolysis as such in this, that is gamma hemolysis. Okay, what are the bacteria in these classifications? Always remember, alpha group is always pneumococci and viridans, that's all. Alpha group, pneumococci and viridans. Beta group is pygenes, agelicti, etc, etc, and gamma group is enterococci. That's all. You don't need to study everything. All right. So Lancefield, what he did a classification according to the carbohydrate composition of the bacterial antigen found on the cell wall. All right. Carbohydrate C. Always remember, carbohydrate C. Lancefield divided them in the group that is A, B, C, D. That's written here. This is the classification. Questions doesn't come from this. The longest chain is from the Streptococcus salivarius, which is non-pathogenic. You are a dentist, you know this. It is non-pathogenic. So that's all. And the toxins are this: pyrogenic, streptokinase, hyaluronidase, hemolysin, nucleotidase, C5a peptidase, lipoproteinase, okay? And streptolysin ONS, that is important. Okay, these are not that important. Now the thing that I told you just, that erysipelas impetigo, non-bullous impetigo, always remember, non-bullous impetigo cellulitis necrotizing fasciitis is always caused by staph. Alright, so the scarlet fever is caused by erythrogenic toxin. Toxic shock syndrome is always caused by exotoxin A. Alright, erythrogenic toxin, the flesh eating bacteria. This is what this looks like. Oh, and the glomerulonephritis is also caused by them. It is hypersensitivity type 3. You already know. When I'll be taking the hypersensitivity lecture, I'll be telling you details about that. Okay, so there's nothing to read as such. Okay, penicillin is always the drug of choice. You already know. Now the agelicti CAM test looks like this. Okay, CAM test looks like this. So Streptococcus agelicti is the responsible bacteria for positive CAM test, and this looks like this. The other CAM test positive bacteria is Listeria, and reverse CAM test is Clostridium. That's all. You have to revise them. You have to revise. Revision is the only key for microbiology, right? So the next is Enterococci. What was Enterococci group? Enterococci was gamma hemolysis, right? No hemolysis causes. So the classification is 40% bile, 6.5% sodium chloride, 10% sodium chloride was staph, 6.5% sodium chloride is Enterococci. Just remember like this. You have to compare and remember. So this is not important. Oh, it causes magenta colored pinpoint colonies in the McConkey agar. It actually helps us to actually write important notes in the book, so we can actually study from them. Yeah, so UTI, hospital acquired UTI, is always caused by Enterococcus, and the only penicillin, giving penicillin or ampicillin doesn't actually help. So synergistic effect of penicillin and aminoglycosides is important. That's all. Now we're coming to the viridans group, that is alpha hemolysis. So that is pneumococci, Streptococcus pneumoniae. It is, if you're a dentist, Streptococcus pneumoniae is the most important, is one of the most important bacteria in this, okay, in gram-positive cocci. So the things you have to remember is gram-positive capsulated diplococci, flame-shaped and lanceolate shape, and it causes the Drotzman and Karam coin appearance. Alright, the next important thing is catalase negative. Catalase positive was only Staphylococcus. Catalase negative is Streptococcus. Every Streptococcus is catalase negative, and every Enterococcus is catalase negative. Only catalase positive is staph. So it ferments inulin, so it is differentiating features from the Streptococci. Streptococcus doesn't ferment inulin, so pneumococci does. So that's that. Pneumococci are bile soluble. I'll be giving you the details. Thuling reaction is always positive, and optocin sensitivity. Optocin sensitivity is very, very important for pneumococci. Alright, you can make notes of this if you want to. You can pause the video and make notes out of it, and it will surely help. I think it will really help. It will really help for the, it will be of really help of before exam revision. So it causes lobar pneumonia, right? Otitis media and sinusitis is caused by this, and The only thing is ASM, that is acute suppurative otitis media. The drug of choice is amoxicillin. Done. So I'll be now this is the important part from where the question actually comes. The bezitracin susceptible is Pygens. Novovisin susceptible, what was that? Staph. Oxacillin susceptible in MRSA, Optocin, pneumococci, right? So the thing that is actually important here, the most important thing in this chapter is this classification. Alright, so we can come with this. Okay, gram positive cocci, catalase positive. Who was catalase positive? Staph. Staph was catalase positive and strepto was negative. So let's come to the classification of staph. Coagulase positive. Who was coagulase positive? Staph aureus. Only Staph aureus is coagulase positive and the rest of them are coagulase negative. So that's come Staph aureus and the other coagulase negative staphylococci. So novovisin resistant, novovisin susceptible. Who was that? That is epidermidis and hemolyticus. Both of them are novovisin positive, susceptible positive, and resistant is saprophyticus. Novovisin resistant is saprophyticus. Okay, now staph done. Now strepto. Gram positive cocci, catalase positive is staph, negative is strepto. When the strepto is negative, the hemolysis caused by them alpha, beta, gamma, partial, complete, no hemolysis. Okay, now alpha we have viridans group and pneumococci group. Optocin sensitivity and bile soluble is pneumococci, always optocin and bile solubility pneumococci. Okay, now beta hemolysis is bezitracin sensitive Pygens. CAM test and hydrolysis caused by Agelecti, right? CAM test is always Agelecti. Bezitracin sensitive is Pygens. Remember this. And in gamma we have enterococcal and non-enterococcal. Pyruvate positive 6.4 NaCl, 40% bile, that is enterococcal. But rest of them are non-enterococcal group. That is the only thing important in this chapter actually. You can answer question based on this also. Now I'm gonna give you some questions, important questions for exams. Hi. So the thing is, the next question that actually came was a 25-year-old man with 3 weeks fever presented with tricuspid valve revegetation. Patient is intravenous drug abuser. Most common cause of endocarditis in this patient is. So what all you have to know about this question? You have to know when there is prosthetic valve involvement, what happens, what bacteria actually causes that, right? So there's a classification for this. Like here, most common cause of if it is native valve, that is child, staph. If it is prosthetic valve, 2 to 12 months, coagulase negative staphylococcus. Who are the coagulase negative staphylococcus other than Staphylococcus aureus, right? Staph aureus causes native valve. Rest of the staph causes 2 to 12 months prosthetic valve. Other prosthetic valve greater than 12 months, Streptococcus viridans, and IV drug abuser is Staph aureus. So what the question says, a 25-year-old man with 3 weeks fever presented with tricuspid valve vegetation. Patient is intravenous drug abuser. So Staph aureus, most common cause of endocarditis in this patient is Staph aureus. This is the right answer. Okay, the next questions that are important are Lancefield grouping of Streptococcus is done by. It is the group C carbohydrate antigen, right? The next question is, the child presents with sepsis. Bacteria isolated shows beta hemolysis on blood agar, resistance to bezitracin and positive CAM test. The most probable organism causing infection is. Now there are important thing is, bacteria isolated showed beta hemolysis on blood agar. Beta hemolysis. So resistance to bezitracin and positive CAM test. What is that? Positive CAM test who showed? Agelecti. So the answer is Agelecti. Okay, the next question is, which of the following factor is responsible for the virulence of Streptococcus? It is always M protein. Remember, M protein is the answer. Okay. The next question is, the child presents with infective skin lesions of the leg. Culture was done which showed gram-positive cocci in chains which were hemolytic colonies. The test to confirm the diagnosis. Now the key to the question is gram-positive cocci. Leg culture was done and the chains of chains which were hemolytic colonies. The test to confirm this. So it is said that the test are change, right? So the bacillus sensitivity, it can be Streptococcus pyogenes. Okay, the next is the following test is helpful in identification of which organisms. Okay, this is the inhibition zone. This is the bacitracin sensitivity test, and that is the Streptococcus pyogenes is the answer. Okay, in a school child has abscess on the lower leg. Swab taken revealed gram-positive beta hemolysis streptococcus, and these were bacitracin sensitive. So the Streptococcus pyogenes, yes. School physician observed that the similar organisms was isolated from the throats of many children. Which of the following statement regard to this patient is true? So there is two type of infection. One is a skin infection, one is a throat infection. So all we know is depending on the M protein, the cutaneous pathogenic bacteria can be differentiated from the pharyngeal culture bacteria. Yes, because M protein is responsible for the toxicity, right? Remember from this question, mainly responsible for the virulence of Streptococcus, that is the M protein. So M protein will decide if the M protein will decide the skin infection, between the skin infection and the throat infection. It will decide if it is Streptococcus or not. Okay. So the next question is this: a beta hemolysis bacteria resistance to vancomycin shows growth on 6.5% NaCl and non-bile sensitive. You remember what I told you? Non-bile sensitive. Okay, and 6.5% NaCl, that is Enterococcus. Yeah. Okay, the next question is: the patient presents with signs of pneumonia. The bacterium obtained from the sputum was gram-positive cocci, which showed alpha hemolysis on the strep agar. Which of the following tests will confirm the diagnosis? Now, what are the points given here? Signs of pneumonia, lobar pneumonia, that is pneumococcus, right? The bacterium obtained from the sputum was gram-positive cocci, which showed alpha hemolysis, pneumococcus, strep agar. Which of the following tests will be the test? Biosolubility and optocin sensitivity are the only tests that is important for the pneumococcus. So there is no optocin sensitivity given, so biosolubility is the answer. Last important question from this chapter is that a 3-year-old boy is having a fever with chills, neck rigidity, disorientation and loss of convulsion. The gram staining of CSF sample shows following image. Identify the causative organism. You can see diplococci, right? So this is pneumococcus. Hi, so these are the important points that are very important for the exam in this chapter, gram-positive cocci. In the next video, I'll be talking about gram-negative cocci. That is very small chapter. I think that will take 5 to 10 minutes. So thank you guys for watching, and I really appreciate you watching this patiently to the end. And yeah, I'm very much new to this content, to YouTube, of course. As you can see, it will be really helpful for me if you could actually subscribe to my channel for future updates. And if you have any suggestion, please feel free to comment down below and tell me those. And if you have any chapter or topics you need to study, and you need to make me a video on that topic also, you can also comment down below. So please like this video and comment if you like this or you have any suggestions, and please subscribe to my channel. That will be really helpful. Thank you.